Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today, again, we have another Wheel of Time video because mostly I'm still in my book hangover. So we're going to continue to talk about it, and we're probably going to do some paintings here soon as well. So I want to talk about some of my favorite moments. I think my top 10 favorite moments actually of the Wheel of Time. So of course this will have spoilers all the way throughout the entire series. But in this video, I want to talk about my favorite moments, like some moments that really stuck out to me that I really appreciated. So, of course, in the comments, leave me a comment down there. Let me know what your favorite scenes were. Like, you can either rank them, do a top 10 or something like that, like I'm doing too, or just, sporadically throw them out there. Either way, I want to know what some of your favorite scenes were. So let me know about that in the comments down below. So, as always, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And let's begin. So this list will not be in any particular order. I'm not doing any kind of ranking. I just want to kind of, shout out to 10 different scenes that I really like that stick with me and I still think about even now. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the first one on my list. So the first one on my list has to be Andral during the final battle, when he links up with the other channelers and basically just goes out there. And after I think Pavara's like, yeah, we need a miracle, whatever. He's like, oh, miracle, like coming right up or whatever. It says something clever like that. And he just like goes out and open all these insane gateways, taking out hundreds and hundreds of shadow spawn at a time and just absolutely wrecking havoc. Just like dropping them through endless voids, like dropping them from the ground and making them fall from the sky and stuff like that. It's so cool. It shows the absolute versatility that even just gateways can give you. Like, if that's just your specialty, you are still a powerhouse. You are still a force to be reckoned with. And I love that we got to see that. And I love that Brandon did that, because it's clearly an expression of the way he views magic systems. And just the nature of that entire scene, it played out so well, which is why I also think it has a lot of potential to, spin off that and, talk about the Dark Tower and stuff. Or the Dark Tower, the Black Tower more, because he is clearly, like, even though, he can only pull so much of the power or whatever, but, like, his ability with gateways, I think, offers him a larger position in the Black Tower. At least it should, in my opinion. So that scene I really like. I love when Andral was just out there wrecking house and just knocking mofos back, like just killing everybody, like just knocking it out. It was so cool. It was such an epic, high-powered moment, and I was just sitting there like fist pumping. It was so cool. I loved it a lot. So let's go ahead and talk about my next favorite scene, and that one is also a masterful display of power as well. It is the scene where Rand was trying to basically help some people in a battle, and Luz Theron takes control of the one power from him when they were fighting over it and stuff still. And Luz Theron started using those death gates and stuff. Like, he's just using all these weaves that no one had ever seen, and like using crazy numbers of weaves all at the same time, and just absolutely wreaking havoc and just wrecking house and everything like that. Like, pretty much just like Andral did, but like very different. Like, instead of just being all gateways, I mean, granted, he used a lot of gateways and stuff, but he used just a lot of different things that I wouldn't have even thought about. Like, there's just ways of using the power and these expressions of like fire pillars and like all these kind of things that he does. It makes weaving and channeling feel so much more powerful than the impression I initially got. Because, like, even with the talk of Nynaeve and Egwene and Elaine, all of them being so powerful, I don't feel like we ever truly got a great display of that. So these different instances of major power displays like really hit me, really stick with me. So the next one on my list is, again, another major display of awesome power. So number 3 on the list definitely has to be Egwene defending the White Tower during the Shan Chan raid. And that was so cool. It was like, I just love the idea of her being like out the blasted side of the tower, like just completely exposed to everybody, using the Ongriel, just like got a little bit of a power up and stuff, but just blasting the dragon creatures and knocking people off there, rocking and toe rocking and everything, and just killing people and stopping people, saving Aes Sedai, just like an absolute expression of badassery. And I was like, yes, finally, like, even like as powerful as she was, like that's not even all her power, because she was still kind of on fork root, so she was using the Ongriel to modify her power, which is just like, whoa, if she was at full power, she could have probably made an even bigger difference, and it's just really cool. And it really kind of, at that point, she kind of really stepped into the Amerlin's shoes, in my opinion. I really, really started to see her as the Amerlin seat. Like, she really did deserve that high post and that all the respect and stuff. So I kind of started to get, that's when I started to really get on her side. Granted, she does some stuff towards the end that's like, kind of petty, kind of small or whatever, but it doesn't detract at all from just the badassery of that scene. And I just love it. So yeah, as you can already tell, first three the first three scenes on my list are major action scenes. I'm a huge fan of action, especially magic action. So my next favorite one, number 4, also takes place in the last book, in the Memory of Light. It is a cool Perrin moment, and it is like one of the scenes that I feel like kind of caps off his character development a lot. So while they're in the dream world and basically are right next to Rand and everyone as he's dealing with Shan Chan dealing with the Dark One or whatever, Lanfear basically reveals her plan is to save the Dark One at the last moment in order to be like the most favored or whatever. It should be like Nablus time 10 or something like that. So she's like slowly compelling Perrin, trying to make him do it. But Perrin is so mentally strong. He is so solid in who he is and so like clear about himself now that he's even able to like kind of brush off the compulsion weave that she's been slowly putting on him this whole time and stuff. So he like jumps off of that and then immediately like it realizes though at the same moment like he realizes one of the issues that I've had with the Targaryen 3, like their inability to kill women, like that just kind of bugs me. It feels misogynistic in a way, but like their whole thing of it, like so he kind of gets over that, or at least to a degree. He like makes a comment saying that he knows Rand has a lot of trouble fighting or hurting women and stuff, so he wouldn't deal with Lanfear properly, and there's no time. He like, so something has to be done, and he like in an instant grabs her and snaps her neck. I was like, what? It was such a cool culmination of who he is. It was decisive. It was very clearly decisive the way Perrin has been. It was like it was ruthless in a way that is just very indicative of the type of strength Perrin has. It was ruthless also in a way that you could ascribe to him being a wolf, part wolf brother. Like it's like wolf in nature and stuff. So like that, it's just kind of vicious in that way. But it's also like this it's like him accepting his power as well. It's like him always having been afraid, like that conversation he had with Elias and stuff, talking about how he's just, or no, I think it was with Tam, where like they're basically saying he's always so deliberate, like afraid of his power, afraid of his strength and stuff, and always so deliberate and careful and like kid glove everything. And I just felt like that was a moment where he just completely let all of that go, and it was just like so nice and so cathartic. Because when that twist came, that was probably the truly one time in the whole book that I was like, oh crap, like what? Like I actually like gasped a minute. I'm like, wait, because that plan is kind of brilliant. And like if he's compelled, I'm like, what would even happen? I'm like, we don't have time to deal with this. Like it's the end of everything. Like so, it's just I got the exact reaction that I think Brandon and Jordan would have wanted. So it just worked out really, really well. And then to have Perrin do that was like a great, like one of the culminating moments of his character arc, and I think it just worked out so well, and I really appreciated it. So my next favorite scene, I believe this is number 5. I'm sorry, I'm really keeping track, but it is definitely when Matt meets Gawain and Galad, and so when Matt meets Gawain and Galad, like that entire first interaction, I love how Matt basically didn't want to like have a confrontation with them at all. He didn't want, he was basically like, I'm just, trying to do my thing or whatever. And they basically pull him into it, and then he's like, okay, I'll make some money out of it and stuff. And they are both basically established as really, really good fighters, like really good sword fighters and stuff. And then we immediately get Matt just handing it to him, like just taking him out with like a half staff or quarter staff, I think, and just like beat the absolute crap out of them. I love it so much, especially since eventually I dislike, Gawain more than Galad, but I think they both are pretty annoying and kind of like overbearing in a lot of ways. But the fact that, and like, I mean, I guess that kind of retroactively makes that scene even better for me, because like my emotions towards them later on now makes me really love that they got their asses handed to them at least once. I mean, apart from everything that happens towards the end, because Demon Dre was not playing, but like, I just really like the way that worked. It was a great little bit for Matt to show that yes, Matt, even though Matt's been basically out of commission for most of the books up until that point because of the whole dagger thing, like, so we get this nice establishment of Matt's ability versus theirs, and like his way of treating nobles and how he feels about it. So it was a lot of information on the characters. It was a lot of cool like display of characterization, and it was just a fun little action scene. So I really really liked it a lot. And of course, as I say, in retrospect, I like it even more. So yeah, next one on the list, my next favorite scene has to be. So my next favorite scene is a more subtle one. It's kind of subtle. It's I can't remember when it happens. It happens, I think, in the last 3 books or 4 books or something. But it's the moment, I think, when Nynaeve switched from, like, for a long time I didn't like Nynaeve, and then I became kind of neutral on her. Around the time she broke her block, like, I kind of got neutral after that. I really was appreciating her development and stuff, the direction it was going. So, you know, I didn't have any strong feelings of her. But when this moment happened, it kind of switched, and I was like, oh dang, I like Nynaeve and stuff like, but it was the moment when she defended Matt. Like, it was I can't remember who she was talking to, like in what context it was. I should have looked it up. I'm sorry, but the fact that she defended him after the whole basically. I don't the when he was with Thailand and stuff. I feel like when he was talking to them about that after the fact, they threw it in his face and was basically laughing it off, like male rape as some kind of funny thing or whatever. Like, that just frustrated the absolute crap out of me when that happened, and I really hated her and couldn't stand her at the time because of that. And then like it kind of recontextualizes that almost, in the fact that it's kind of like the I'll talk shit to you because we're siblings, because we're close or whatever, but I won't let somebody else do it. It came across like that, and I really appreciated that. It kind of like gives this huge like big sister energy about Nynaeve that I think the show clearly was pulling for, which is why I think I immediately like her more in the show. But when she did that, I was like, okay, like, no. And then she kept doing stuff that was awesome and kept being really cool and mature and just awesome and stuff. And I'm like, are you my favorite character now? Like, what's going on? So yeah, well, basically, yeah, Nynaeve is my favorite character. And we'll probably have a video talking about that. I'm definitely have to rank my characters after a while, I guess. So yeah, but that was really cool, and I really appreciated it. And it was like a great turn from a character that I was not liking to then kind of grew on me to now I'm like, damn, I love this girl. So yeah, next scene, let's talk about a sad scene. But it was an epic scene, and I thought it was another example of these like capstone moments, this like finishing off a character story arc that just works so beautifully. And that has to be Egwene. Egwene's death, even though I really was like loving her as the Amerlin and stuff, and like the strides she was making and the power she was showing and just the decisions she was making and stuff, it just felt like a great leader. I was really feeling it. And granted, her death makes so much sense because it's a culmination of all of that stuff. But you know, you kind of feel a little sad because just the loss of potential of like she could have probably been the best Amerlin of the last of like since the late Age of Legends or whatever. Like, you know, like she could have just been so epic. Granted, her memory will never die, and they'll sing songs about her forever, I'm sure. But you know, it could have been. She could have just had years and years and years and years of awesomeness. Like, it was just the sad fact that she had to die. But the way she does it is so brilliant. To come up with a weave, to discover a weave that theoretically could have been known in the Age of Legends, I guess. But to discover the opposite of the most dangerous weave we know of is such an accomplishment. It's so amazing. And it just kind of sucks that we didn't get to see more use of it. I would have liked that. But contextually, I can't really see where it would have fit in much more. Using it against Taim slash Mahel. I think that was in Mahel. Whatever his Forsaken name was. But using it against him just kind of worked out so nicely. I like that it's kind of like the opposite. Like how Balefire steals time. The Flame of Tarvalin kind of freezes time. Like, it erases the time of the influence you did, but this seems to freeze, like, because with the crystallization and stuff, it seems to just, like, I don't know, freeze it, I guess? I don't know. Like, it has an interesting magical effect, and I think visually it's really cool. And it kind of does give me a lot of Cosmere vibes, because in the cognitive realm, the realm of dreams and Brandon Sanderson stuff, it's kind of like that. There's a lot of instances of crystals and crystallization and stuff like that. So it was a little familiar to me. So yeah, but I really really liked that scene. I think that was like a very poignant death, and it was a very like earned death, and it didn't feel contrived. It didn't feel like a cheap emotional play. It didn't feel undeserved. It didn't feel like less heroic or anything like that. It just was well done. It was so well done, and I really liked it. And I think it encapsulates her character so well. Like all her development going up to that, it just feels like a beautifully complete story arc. It just really really does, and character arc as well. So I think this might be number 7. I don't know. I'm not sure. But my next favorite one of my other favorite scenes, definitely has to be the moment towards the end when Logain meets with that woman and she has her son, and she tells him like, I'm going to send my son to you to see if he can be tested, to see if he has the talent. And it was like, Logain has basically been depressed that he hasn't gotten the appreciation and recognition that he definitely deserves, and which is understandable, especially considering Min's vision that there would be glory for him and stuff like that. I think he found out about that vision, so he was kind of like expecting it or something. But the fact that happened, and the fact that it was a woman saying that like she will see if her son can be tested to see if he has the talent and not like the taint or anything like that. So I just thought that was really nice. It just like it kind of I don't want to make that comparison because it's a spoiler to a movie that just came out, but something similar happened. But in any case, I really, really liked it. I really liked the way it played out. I really liked the promise that scene kind of delivers. It says we may not see it, but yes, there will be glory for Logain. The Black Tower will stand and it will do good. So I just really like that idea, and I really like the optimism that it kind of ends off with. So that's really cool, and it gave me, all the warm fuzzies. So yeah. So my next favorite scene, I think, is probably number 8 now. I don't know. I'll pay attention in editing. So my next favorite scene is definitely got to be Perrin's It's Just a Weave. So that moment when they were in the dream world, they didn't tell Teleronrio. Yeah, when they're there, and he runs into Egwene, and she's like tries to, actually no, not even that moment. The Bellfire thing when when the Forsaken shoots Bellfire at him, and he just kind of dismissed, or was it a Forsaken? I'm fuzzy on details. I'm sorry, but the moment in the dream world where Perrin basically like, oh, it's just a weave, and completely dismisses Bellfire. I thought that was so epic. It was such a cool moment to show that like this whole like the nature of the dreams and everything. Like it felt like a close culmination to that story arc. Like I didn't associate wolves with dreams or anything like that, but thinking on it and stuff and like ruminating on it, like when you kind of tie that whole power set and everything together, you kind of realize this is the moment where he one of the moments where he kind of reaches full zenith of Perrin. Like he reaches his final form basically. So it's just really cool. I just like how insanely powerful he is. And this idea, like, so part of me in the content in the moment, I had a little bit of an issue with how easy he kind of seemed to pick all of this stuff up. But it occurs to me that like maybe a wolf brother, of course, has natural affinity for this kind of stuff, and just the prophecies of basically calling him the Wolf King and all that stuff, which I think really is more associated with the fact that he is going to be king, since the people who was in charge of Saldea are dead, and now Fael is the monarch. So he's going to be co-ruler in some capacity. So either just royal consort or whatever. I don't know how their stuff works in that country. But so that could associate with that. But he also does clearly feel like the king of the dream world. But the whole Slayer thing, having that talent without being a wolf brother or anything like that, is interesting to me, though. Are there, like... So could Egwene do that? Egwene, or Elaine? Egwene, who's the dreamer? Is Egwene, right? I always forget it, y'all. So y'all know I always forget who the dreamer is. I can never remember if it's Elaine or Egwene. I'm pretty sure it's Egwene. I'm pretty sure it's Egwene. But in any case, can dreamers do that? Can they just, plop, transition into Teleronrio like Rand or like Perrin and Slayer does? Is that a thing they can do? But I'd be surprised if the wise one, well, maybe they could, and that was just information they never gave her because of all of their issues with that whole thing. Sorry, I'm starting to ramble. Let me move on. You see, this is why I'm struggling to read other books, because the Wheel of Time just kind of just sticks in there, and then it's almost as bad as the Cosmere, where you just start to get down just wondering little things. So yeah, next favorite scene. So I think my last one is going to be one that's another kind of actiony thing, of course. I mean, the moment is just too cool not to include it. Like, I was thinking about some of the other funny moments and fun moments, like when Matt like spanks people and stuff. Like, just that entire concept, the way Jordan uses spanking is just so weird. It's weird, but it's like it grows on you when you kind of get used to the world and stuff. But it's still weird. So I don't know. There were some instances where I awkward laughed about the spanking and stuff, and I was going to talk about one of those. But no, I think this last spot is a little more deserving, or Land's defeat of Demon Dread is a little more deserving of this final spot on my favorites list. So I definitely have to say Land's fighting of Demon Dread and eventually killing him has to be like my last favorite scene. Or I have plenty of favorite scenes, but it's the last one I'm going to talk about today. So when Land goes in, like, it's just so cool. I just love how it's set up. Like, Loyal is basically ready to write the epitaph. He's basically writing the obituary for Land. He's like, oh, I have to record this. This is like the final charge of the King of Melchior. Like, he's definitely going to die and blah, blah, blah. And then Tam's like, nope, I'll help out, and like launches arrows, taking out the Trollocs and stuff, making a path for him, which was just awesome. Like, I love how much the Two Rivers men, like their archers and stuff, how they're great marksmen. Their bows are really interesting and differently crafted and stuff. I just really like how that all works out. But yeah, when Land gets to him, like start fighting him and stuff, and of course the line that everybody loves. Like, I've seen it like on so many different videos and different articles and stuff I've read over the last few days. So many people love the line where, of course, where Land says, "I didn't come here to beat you. I came here to kill you." It's like, that is just awesome. Like, it's so cool. I mean, it's actually way cooler than, but it reminds me of from that last event, not last Avengers movie, because they'll never stop making Avengers movies. The big one where the people were snapped away and they came back. Endgame. Endgame. So in the moment where Scarlet Witch was talking to Thanos, she's like, "You took everything from me." He's like, "I have no idea who you are." Like, it was something like that. It kind of gave me that same kind of energy. So I really appreciated it. But I was so expecting Land to die, like to the point where I was ready to basically give it. Sorry, I was ready to basically give it the same love and attention, the same like due credit that Egwene's death got. But then we later find out he's not dead. I'm like, whoa, that almost feels like a cop out. It's like he should have died, but like I kind of love that he didn't, because it solidifies the badassness of what happened a little bit more. So it's just really cool. I just like it. I think Land's a really cool character, pretty much underused. Like, he's a cool character, very interesting. And I think he does fit really well for Nynaeve, especially the end product Nynaeve. But I do honestly feel like his character was very underutilized, especially for his level of skill and everything. But neither here nor there. But yeah, I guess I'm going to end this video. It's been going on for a while, and I'm getting really rambly. So yeah, I got to keep that under control. But yeah, as always, please let me know in the comments down below. What are some of y'all favorite scenes from the series? Like, I know there's a million we could choose from. There's just so many little moments. Not even like, you know, story arc defining moments or anything. There's just small little bits and things. Like, one of my favorite Matt scenes that Brandon wrote was the whole Matt giving his people very elaborate backstories, and like when the guy like got into the backstory and stuff, that's still so funny to me. When one of his people got into the backstory and started replying as if the backstory was real and everything, that has so much humor to it. So there's so many little moments like that that are just a lot of fun. This is a really good series with a lot of good moments, a lot of like snooze kind of moments too. But you know, that's what you get when you got a series that runs the entire spectrum of emotional reactions. So yeah, of course, let me know what you all think in the comments down below. I really love to hear what some of your favorite scenes are. So as always, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I will talk to you all next time. Peace.